watching TV.
We on all the way around, Sean?
Yeah, both places. Yeah.
Thank you.
We are, I'm good with it. I'm passing this on.
Yeah. I'd like to welcome everybody to the August 16th, 2023 Town of Alexandria Board Meeting. Would you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First is a motion to approve and pay the abstract bills. I've been through it. I left post-it notes on 5 or 6 bills. I think everybody's addressed that.
I've been through it, yeah.
So I need a motion by Gene, second by Sean. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? None. Motion to approve the board minutes from July 19th.
I haven't been through them.
You look. Yeah,
I haven't.
You haven't. I have. I'll make a motion. Need a second by Gene. Any further discussion?
I wasn't present at that meeting, so I don't know if I can really vote on that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? None. Mike abstain.
Yep. I wasn't here.
Yep. Next is public concerns.
Just anybody?
Yep.
So I'm here to request the town consider adopting a mission statement and a set of written guidelines for TOA youth sport. Currently, the organization has neither of these things. Both of my kids have taken turns playing TOA youth sports over the years, and repeatedly I've seen issues arise because the organization has no public written guidelines or clearly defined mission statement. I've been told repeatedly over the years that TOA is a learning and educational league, but the actions of the organization are contrary to that statement. If the true mission is sports education and learning, children should be playing in groups that are the most conducive to their learning. The sports leagues have defined these divisions as 8U, 10U, 12, 13U, grasshoppers, and so on, that naturally group children with similar physical, cognitive, and emotional abilities together. The leagues are giving you the structure that is best fit for the children to learn, yet the town repeatedly and arbitrarily moves kids up to accommodate the parents and coaches at a cost to other players. Learning isn't just about physical skill set. There is a mental and emotional skill set that goes with it. The younger kids playing on the older teams lack the overall maturity to be there and take playing time away from the kids that can only play at that level. I encourage the town to adopt a policy that all the kids will be playing according to their age level, with a single provision that allows children to move up only under a single circumstance. Students may be asked if they would like to play up if the current team they are on has more than 14 players, and the upper team has less than 14 players. Children can only move up if they will naturally be on the upper level team the following year. Once a team reaches 14 players, movement of the children will stop. Children will be asked to move only on base, starting with the oldest player first. And players can move until those students are exhausted or one team reaches 14 players. Only players that would naturally be on the upper level team the following year would be eligible to move. If after following the guideline a team cannot be reached, no upper level team will be formed and the town will seek to offer skill drill instead. At any time, a full team cannot be formed, TOA should offer to seek skill lessons or solicit more parents to sign kids up. If we set this guideline, parents and coaches cannot manipulate the coordinators to move kids up arbitrarily to meet the needs and wants of to meet their needs and wants, which have lasting long-term effects on the overall organization. If we followed this guideline, it would be unlikely that we would ever get into a situation where we would need to split and have two very small Alex Bay teams, or have a single team with too many players. Under this model, most teams would naturally have 14 to 16 players in an already clearly defined age group. My son played summer 10U soccer. The town played many second graders up onto the third and fourth grade team. The end result was two teams that barely had enough kids to play. Several games we had to request to play 7-on-7 because nobody considered having a team of 9 kids and 11 kids during the summer far too thin. The kids were exhausted, hot, and without subs. The parents felt guilty being out of towns on vacations and events, knowing that we were leaving the team short. The TOA tried a similar tack with grasshopper baseball last year, and it failed miserably, resulting in T-ball players on the already overfull team. 8U softball players had no options but to play in grasshoppers, so a full team of 22 kids for grasshopper baseball. Because a team split failed to materialize, following unconventional practice schedules that parents couldn't make. My child was up to bat one time an entire game, nearly the entire season. This situation could have been avoided. No children should be played up onto teams that already have 14 or more players on it. The team is full. Adding more players at that point just takes away from the kids that are already there. Additionally, some of the 8U girls may have, under the guidelines, been able to play up onto a 10U team, but 10U was not an option because we played up kids onto 2 12U teams under the pressures of parents and coaches arbitrarily asking for kids to play up. Not foreseeing the pitfalls of no 8U or 10U teams and the effects on future playing seasons of spillover to the already typically full grasshopper team. We likely had enough girls for both the 10U and 12U teams. Since we have no written guideline or mission, the coordinator has bent to the whims of the parents and the coaches. The coaches want to move up physically skilled players, and parents want their kids on the same team for ease of transporting all their kids around. But it's not fair if we are an educational league. Since we don't allow tryouts, how can we decide who really should move up fairly based on skill? The answer is we can't, and it's not a road we should be going down. Age is really the only way to move children fairly and should only be allowed in the rarest of circumstances. If parents or coaches want kids to move up outside of the sole set guideline, they should be directed to join a competitive league. Kids learn best with school-age peers that are happiest playing with their classmates, which we find which is what we, as an educational learning lead, should be cultivating. The kids are not asking to play up. It's the parents, the coaches, the kids who want to play with their friends. The town should also consider in these guidelines a max number of players and making cuts starting with the youngest player by age so that no team is more than 18 players. Teams of more than 18 players are unplayable and take away from the learning of it all. If a team registration has 24 players after confirming all are going to play, splitting the team would be considered. Online registration should include additional information asking about transportation and dates children won't be able to play if known. That information could be considered when splitting the teams, but if you follow the guideline, it would be unlikely we would get to that situation. Policy should be set that TOA must at minimum on the online registration for all activities provide the days and times of the games as provided by the league, the location of all the playing fields, and the dates we are playing for the season. Coaches should be encouraged to conduct practices preseason at the same times and days as the game schedule when possible. The role of the coordinator should include confirming that all enrolled children will be playing prior to making decisions regarding movement of children and viability of teams. TOA is the only thing I signed up for with no clue if my child can participate. I am asked to sign my child up for a soccer season without knowing the date, time, location, sign up, and then I'm told after the fact, and then I have to go, oh, but I'm not available Tuesdays. They tell us after the fact. Last year I signed my child up for 8U soccer, assuming it would be hosted in the evening or weekend as all previous TOA activities. After signing up, I was contacted by the coach and told practices were 1 p.m. on a Monday because a single parent had a conflict, and then on Wednesday at 4 p.m. I explained I'm a working parent, I can't make those times happen. I was told I could move them up to 10U. Those pre-practice games were at 3:30, and then the games were later in the season at 6. I couldn't make that work either, so we withdrew. I wouldn't have signed up in the first place if they were just posted, this is when it is. I understand the coaches are all volunteers, and I value their time, but the town should have some input when they're allowed to hold practices. At minimum, all practices held midweek should be held after 4 or 5 to accommodate working parents. That's all I have. What's your name? Sharona Ryder.
Shona, is that letter something that you're all right with?
Sure.
Do you want to take that, Sandy, or do you want me to take it? Do you want to take it for the minutes?
And I'll make a copy.
Sandy will take it, and if you and I can get together
Sure.
and talk about some of that stuff, just to address a few of them. I know one of the big things we are lacking is a mission statement and guidelines, but we do work within some unrealistic things. So one thing to get right off, I would tell you your probability of knowing your schedule before a season starts is somewhere around 0%.
Well,
We are recruiting coaches almost up to the minute.
does the league tell you when the games are?
No.
At minimum, like, it would be nice, because we're signing up, it's the only thing I sign up for. And then I sign them up and they go, oh, the games are Wednesday. Well, my kids got karate Wednesday, so
Yeah.
I have to now withdraw. But now, like, the coordinator hasn't made sure that all of these kids are playing before the team is split or this is happening. And then, like, the split, and then they came back, 22 kids on grasshopper baseball was a nightmare.
Yeah. No,
Absolute nightmare.
I understand some of your concerns. I'd be happy to sit down and meet with you on some of them, but it would probably be good both ways for me to learn some things and you too. But frankly, I mean, one of the things you also said too is a lot of people sign up front, right?
Right.
So we have these expectations as a group, and then it doesn't meet the needs. So now we're right at that line, like 22, okay, of 22 coming to every game? No. So you listed one example where we go with it on the grasshopper side of thing, we keep 22. No one's happy with that. We move to soccer. No one's happy with grasshopper at 22, so we split 10 and 11. Now no one's happy here.
Well,
so there's
but some of it is that if we didn't move kids up onto a team that's already full, we would never get to those numbers. If we didn't move kids up, because parents go, I want my kid to play up, if we didn't move those kids up, we probably wouldn't get to those overwhelmingly split numbers.
so
I think that, to me, is the bigger issue. We're arbitrarily, based on some coach or some parent that says, we need to move our kid up, but because we're a learning league and we can't cut players, the kids that are supposed to be playing at this level must stay at this level, and now we're like, okay, we're going to let them move up, but the team's already full. Some of these, once they have 14, 15 kids, moving 2 or 3 or 4 more up onto it, like youth soccer, if we didn't move second graders up, we would have had a 15-person third, fourth grade team. We would never have a thin situation. We would never have an overage situation. I think the issue is we're arbitrarily allowing parents to pressure the coordinator or pressure the coach to move kids up because we don't have a guideline that says we're not moving kids up.
yeah.
Kids have to stay in the educational area that they should be in, that's defined by the league, unless there is a shortage and overage situation. If we just kept the kids playing where they're supposed to be playing, we wouldn't get into these split team situations.
I'll be happy to hear you out on it. I'll like I said, we should meet. I mean, pretty much every child that gets moved up has to come through Matt Chase, and then it gets approved by myself. And this is a sports organization pretty
Right.
much. So we also want every kid to have the opportunity to play where their skill set
Right.
belongs to, and their physical attributes are evaluated as well.
Right.
You call it arbitrarily, but we feel like, you know, who else are we gonna go to?
Right, but I mean, if we're an educational league, should we be moving kids up? Should they just be playing where they're naturally supposed to be? And if they want to be on a competitive league,
So maybe we
play
go
on
back
a
to the
competitive
mission
league.
statement. We also wanna encompass, and this is something like we've worked heavily with the school on too,
Mm-hmm.
as an athletic program. We also want kids to achieve their athletic goals, all
Right.
right? So, there's two sides to it, like I
Right.
said, maybe, you know, maybe here we shouldn't continue,
Right,
but
and-
I would love to talk to you more about it.
And listen, if there's room to move them up, my issue is that if we have a team that's already got 12 or 14 or 15 kids, and those kids can only play there, they can only play there, they're in their age group, and maybe you have some exemplary ones that have the ability to move up, but when you move them up, it takes away from the ones that can only play there.
Mhm.
That's the issue to me. Moving kids up onto a team that's already full takes away from the kids that can only play there. They have nowhere to go.
Yeah, no, I get that point.
And that's really.
But any of the
my-
specific people that I guess I have in mind that I've evaluated or made those decisions on, I think that was kept in mind, so I wanna talk a little bit more specifically what teams we're
I
discussing
mean,
and.
we had some kids that should have been on T-balls and on grasshoppers. They didn't hit a ball all season. They really didn't have the skill set to be there. And they're taking away from grasshoppers.
Mhm.
You know, Henrik's getting up to bat one time.
Yeah, I'd be unaware of any of
You know what I
those
mean?
people.
It's just-
I don't know if I've
we're
approved
just-
any of them.
We're just, you know, if the team is full, moving other kids onto it just takes away from the ones that
Yep.
can only be there. And I understand that they have tremendous skill sets and maybe they should move up. But this team is full. You know, it just means they get less playtime.
Yep.
Or we go to a split situation where now it's so thin we don't have enough. You know, there just has to be something that says we can't keep moving kids up onto teams that are full,
Okay,
essentially.
I appreciate it. I'll get a hold of you too.
Okay, anytime. You know where I am at.
Yeah.
Are we on?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other public concerns? Okay, then we'll move on to the agenda. Number 1 is an engineer report from our engineer.
So, we'll take them in order that you have them here. The Butterfield Pavilion, we have the drawings done, and we sent them to a couple of contractors for pricing, so won't have anything until your next meeting as far as that deck.
Okay.
As far as the replacement of the water main on Route 26, that's complete. That was, put online yesterday. So that went pretty well. And, we did save a little money. We saved 12 grand because we had to shorten the pipe up a little bit because of a rock outcrop we found where we wanted to directionally drilled. So we, shortened it up and saved a little money. We, were able to send the pipe back and, save a little bit of, installation labor as well. So I don't know if you got an invoice yet.
No.
You probably haven't seen an invoice yet.
I had a conversation with the contractor yesterday, and they were in the process of doing the landscaping and fixing the areas where they had damaged or left marks and the areas where they were working. And that was their final step.
They've mulched everything, they just need to straighten up some of the areas where they cross the road and things like that. So that's complete. Testing passed, obviously, water test. And health departments have been made aware of it, and they're good with it. So, the water tower painting project, the contractor mobilized their high lift yesterday. I've been working with Jamie and Jay to test So what we have to do when we take the tank offline, we empty the tank, then we run the high lift pumps 24 hours a day. It's the same system pressure. So the last couple of days, Jay and Jamie and I have been testing that, getting the pump frequency set right, and we also put a blowout valve up by the tank, so if the pressure gets too high, it'll waste water, which obviously costs money, so we want to try to have the pressure relief valve set at that sweet spot, so it wastes the minimum amount of water that we, when we have the pumps running. So I think we're there, have that pretty much set up. We're gonna wait until the foreman gets on the site Friday. They work basically 7 days a week, so they'll start the minute we have the tank empty, maybe on Friday actually. And once they get the tank rigged, get their compressors set and the hose lines taken to the top of the tank, they'll start sandblasting probably Saturday. They'll sandblast Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then they'll also do the touch-up on the exterior of the tank that we talked about while the bowl is empty. Because we want to do that when the bowl's empty so we don't get any sweating, obviously. So that'll take place over the next probably 10 days. We're trying to, weather looks good. So over the next 10 days, hopefully we can knock that out and get the tank back online. And there is some testing we have to do once we fill the tank. We have to take some water samples for volatile organic compounds to make sure the paint has cured fully and things like that before we can open the valve to start sending water back to the residents. So we're ready to do that. Parking lot. You saw the parking lot work has started right here. We did have some discussion, I think Brent may have mentioned it to you, about there is an area out front here that has map cracked. You know, it's alligatored. Does it need to be replaced right now? Probably not. Will it need to be replaced before you overlay everything? Definitely. You won't want that to map crack through. So the contractor did give you a number, gave Brent a number, roughly
23.7.
23.7. It's about 5,000 square feet. I measured quickly, so it's a little under $5 a square foot to do that work.
And we're gonna talk about that more later.
Okay.
You wanna tell him, go back to him about taking mobilization off?
I called him.
Oh, you did, okay.
And Rob brought the report, and he had no mobilization.
Yeah, we didn't ask for a breakdown.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know how it compares to square footage.
There's a number in his.
But I did talk to him, and I mentioned that to him, but he's gonna get back to me later on.
Okay.
We did also mention, agree that instead of putting binder and top in these patch areas, we'll just bring the binder up level with the existing pavement, and then we'll let it sit for a year, and then if you wanna top it next year. And we are able to save a little bit of money on the top coat by doing that, roughly $5,000, I think, on the original bid.
Yeah.
By doing that, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that everything, Rob?
That's it, I guess, for the general stuff. Obviously, we have the bond resolution for the Route 12 sewer when we get there.
Okay. I'm gonna jump around a little bit here to get people that are in this room so they don't have to be here all night. We're gonna go to the number 5, an old business short-term rental draft to zoning. We've talked about this, the board's talked about this. I think we realized that we had a miscommunication. Sean was involved in it. Sean, you know where we stand, or?
Yeah, for the most part. I guess where the miscommunication came in really was, I believe we were expecting a presentation per se back in April when the draft came in.
Yep.
I don't know if what I have is the final draft, is it?
I believe it is.
It is?
Yeah, and
I
plus
saw you bring one in today, so I didn't know if that was a.
That is.
Okay, so it's definitely bumped to the back burner, I think. So I think the board here, we're gonna have some more conversation about it, but we are gonna kick it over to zoning too, to get their opinion on, there's a lot in there. So we'll get their opinion on that stuff. And
I was gonna say, I sat down with Norris yesterday, talked to him a little bit about it. There's a lot in here, obviously. I think some of the things that you're talking about are gonna need more time put into the code officer job. There's a lot of stuff there that we have to look at. We're gonna ask the zoning board to look at it first, and then we're gonna look at it, and we'll see where we go beyond that.
Hopefully by next month.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't know when they meet it again.
Second Tuesday, or second Monday of the month.
Okay.
Okay, somebody else is here for what else? Well, I'll start on the deal. Highway report, I don't have one. Gene, do you have? Okay. Zoning, water, sewer. Water and sewer reports are, they replaced 2 meters, or 2 pumps, I'm sorry. And obviously the water and sewer guys, Jay and Jamie, have both been working on this water tower. As Rob said, I think they were testing today and they were testing yesterday to making sure that the residents in Redwood can still have proper water without a water tower by just pumping it with our pumps, right?
Right, and one other thing I forgot to mention,
Only like 1 or 2 properties will be without water when you transfer that over.
yeah, actually, yeah, there shouldn't be any, you know, the water line is done, so there was 1 property without water, for the water line piece, that was just without water for a day. I do know there was a few people without water for a few minutes when they were being when the system was being flooded, but, because the pressures dropped, so. But one thing we do wanna point out, let all the fire departments know that that tank will be empty. So we'll be limited in our water supply for firefighting for the next 10 days in that Redwood system. So that's important, I think, to know and to get the word out, that we're gonna be without that 150,000 gallons of water, 120,000 gallons of water for firefighting.
Okay. Mike or Sandy, you guys don't, I know you haven't been meeting, I know Sandy's been working a lot on the Teresa water situation.
Yep, the only thing I have from the water committee, I did confirm with Norris that the Dave Roberts Finn's facility is no more restaurant at all. And they changed their use officially. So they went in front of the zoning board, that's been approved. So I would recommend, per the guideline of the ordinance, they are now a single-family home with an additional structure, with an accessory business structure, whatever you wanna call it. So that would be a 1 plus a .75, rather than a 1 for the house and a 1.5 for a restaurant. So my recommendation is that they go down from a 2.5 to a 1.75, for both water and sewer. That's up to you guys.
So we do a resolution, a motion to
Just a motion,
pass that?
just a motion, yep.
She's saying yes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Sean, second by Ronnie, to change the EDUs as Finns. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None.
The other property that we talked about, you weren't here, Mike. It's right next door to the guy in the highway department.
Baines?
What was it?
Baines?
Baines. She had come in and had asked and said, you know, she didn't like her EDU rate because of the vacant lot next door and the house was torn down, and she was under the impression that it had been taken right back, that everything was gone. She told me that, Rusty Johnson had done the work, so I did contact Rusty Johnson, and Rusty said, yeah, we took the house away, but any lines that were going in and anything, they basically were just crushed and buried. So they didn't go back to the curb stop, which is the normal rule, so I think all we need to do there is have Jamie talk to them one more time and say, this is the only way it's gonna get done, is if it gets caught here, unless you guys wanna just.
That was in front of us a couple of years ago,
Yep.
and it hadn't been taken out, so we didn't do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we're in the same boat there.
Yep. Lorena, youth report?
Nothing really new to report there, all the soccer seasons are winding down. we kinda hold till school's back in session, and we'll hopefully start some fall soccer programs.
I had a call from Clayton, rink manager, and we talked about opening dates, and their opening date in Clayton is around the first week, sometime the first week in October, and I said that ours was what we did last year, which is around the first week in November. I think everybody's okay with that?
Mhm.
So that's where we stand on that. Clerk report.
I've been working. That's all I've got for you. All my reports are in, I've been working, I don't have the numbers, it's a crazy couple days.
Okay. Okay, so moving on to old business, town office, parking lot repairs, we talked about, you guys to see the 3 areas that they're working on, we talked about the one other area in front and the dollar amount. I think maybe after the meeting, we go outside and then take a look at that and make a decision. Is everybody okay with that?
Yep.
Okay. Brush pit cameras, registration and sign, I'm gonna have to put a new sign up on the brush pit. I've had 2 or 3 people call me that are commercial haulers and they wanna come and get a permit. Put together the permit application, Sandy has a copy of that.
I had a question on that, cause one of them called me. For this year, because the applications are running from like, what is it?
I would
April,
say
March,
depending on what the
are we prorating it for the rest of the season? No.
I'm thinking that we should prorate it,
No,
flat fee,
I think so.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
You wanna dump, it's $250.
Okay. Okay,
Hold on.
I've been in contact with Travis, and I'm not sure he was supposed to, install the cameras and have them. What's that?
I apologize, I'm sorry, did we go over the zoning report? Did we skip zoning report, or did I not
I
hear?
didn't have a zoning report.
We don't have one. Our zoning officer didn't send one in.
Okay, thank you very much.
And a lot of times he doesn't send one in if he doesn't have anything to report. I've seen the paperwork go through, and I don't think he had anything to report.
Okay, I was just asking because it was on the
Yep.
agenda, so, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Where was I?
Brush
We were on
pit
the brush
cameras.
pit.
Yeah, the brush pit.
Travis, you talked to Travis?
Yep.
Yeah, no prorating, I mean, we have dates, and if they choose to buy a permit later on, it is what it is.
Okay. So that's all I have there. They were supposed to have been put up, and I sent them an email, and I haven't heard from them in 2 days. All I know.
I'm pretty sure they're not, cause I'm still getting pictures from our highway superintendent of garbage being dumped. If people saw cameras, they wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Regular
agree.
garbage.
I think that should help a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Almost every day.
That's pretty much what triggered all this. Yeah, that sure is. Relief on the water bill. So we had a situation where I think we might have talked about this at the last meeting, where the water was turned on, and there was one end where it was turned on, after where it was turned on, that was open, and water went out, and it was $900 worth of water. Obviously, we've had past practice like this, and we haven't been able to give anybody relief. The only thing that we have done is we've helped some people out on a payment plan and let them pay it over X amount of payments. And Sandy, what have we done there, or what's our?
What we've done in the past, there's one that comes to my mind, somebody's water tank burst over in Redwood, and they lost a large volume of water. And rather than making them pay it on that first month, they prorated it, so long as they had it paid before the next billing, so basically you had 3 months, and they broke it down into 3, so long as they had it paid by the next billing, no interest was charged, or penalties.
So I told the owner that probably was the route that we were gonna go, because of what we've done in the past, we haven't been able to relieve anybody if the water, if it was turned on, it was their fault that it happened that way,
There was
so.
nothing broken or anything? They just left it?
They had a plumber there that turned the stuff on, and yes, they had something broken, and he didn't realize and didn't shut off. It was
Actually,
nothing on our end,
it was a line that was disconnected in the past.
Oh, okay.
It was a line that was disconnected in the past, and the plumber didn't know about it or forgot about it, and he turned the water on, and 3 weeks later, they found out they were running water for 3 weeks.
I don't know if they're open to suggestions, but I'd call the contractor.
So how does everybody feel about doing it 3 months, and what would you like to do?
I'm good with that.
Just payment within the
It's
3
within the
months?
quarter, there's no real difference.
Yeah.
It's within the quarter, as long as they're not once they go past a quarter, that's when late charges start accruing, but if they wanna do it in 3 payments instead of 1,
Yep.
it's the same thing.
And I also told them, since I wasn't gonna get an answer till this board meeting, that I think the late payment date was,
It's already passed.
is already
If
passed.
they don't pay
And I
within the
already
first
told
month,
them
the
that we
late
would
charges go
extend that
on.
late payment date till today, or till the meeting, till I could get him an answer. So if I could get a motion to allow him to pay his water bill during that quarter at any time, by the end of the quarter, is that what everybody feels will work?
Yeah.
So I need a motion. Motion by Ron, second by Gene. Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. I'm gonna do Andrew next and have him.
Okay. So I passed out, some drawings. These are half-size sets of drawings. That's what we've put together so far on the, Arena Sportsplex project, right here on Bolton Ave. The first sheet here is really just an overall site plan. We put this together to give an idea, both to the board and the community, a sense of the context of the arena, where we're putting the addition, and where the property lines are, relative to the addition and the existing arena. This is an old survey. It will be updated. We are sending out RFPs next week to update the survey on behalf of the town. So we'll get more data really behind the survey. Grading is gonna be important, elevations, that sort of thing, and utilities, site utilities as well. So not a lot yet to show here. You can see that parking, really it's just a double-loaded corridor parking lot adjacent to the rink. It appears the parking lot behind the rink is actually the property of the church, even though the Zamboni goes out through that door.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some sort of agreement or easement there, but.
It's just always been that way.
It's pretty much verbal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they talk to us all the time, and we talk to them about what we can do to help each other out, and when they have events and when we have events, we always put cones up and do that stuff.
Okay. So that's, not a lot to show there until we get the survey and we can dive into that deeper. Next sheet here, we've got into the rink, measured it, photographed it, really understand it well. This is a proposed demo plan, just showing the existing layout. Everything dashed would be coming out, so it's proposed demo. As you know, we're taking out a lot. We're not really touching the ice surface per se, but really everything around it inside the arena is sort of game for the project. Taking out all the bleachers, the existing locker rooms, all that, and replacing all that. So, proposed demo really just shows what we're removing from the arena. The next couple plans here are proposed first and second floor plans for the project. These are color-coded, similar to the previous scoping plans you've seen. Everything in orange is proposed addition that's outbound of the existing arena. The yellow is level 1 alterations, so that's essentially repairs and replacements, where you're not changing the configuration of the space, you're really just renovating things in place. Blue is level 2 alterations, that is where you're demoing and reconstructing spaces. So the bleachers, the locker rooms, everything you see in blue is sort of extensive alterations. And these are how they're identified in the code, in the building code. And then the gray, really the ice surface is really the only thing, like I said, that we're not changing the ice, the refrigeration system or anything with the boards. That'll all remain as is. Just to kind of walk you through where we're at with the plans, starting like at the locker room wing, we were able to fit 4 20-seat locker rooms, so large locker rooms, varsity size, along that wing, along with a referee's room and a smaller overflow locker room. So there's technically 5 locker rooms along that side. We are looking at keeping a 6 overflow locker room in the back corner of the rink. I think
That's fair enough.
The public really thought that 6 was a number we should try to strive to achieve. And so that's why I think out inside the rink, we should have an overflow out there as well. We weren't able to fit 6 along this, we just don't have the length to do it without shrinking the size of the locker rooms. So these locker rooms each hold 20, the 4 large varsity size locker rooms have 20 seats in them, 20 spots for players that are 42-inch benches. So it's ample space for a varsity team. The overflow will be used for smaller teams, or when you have girls on a boys team, they'll be able to have their own locker room. The varsity locker rooms have their own bathrooms. The other 2 locker rooms have sort of a shared bathroom amongst them. Moving over to the lobby entry wing, I would call this the lobby concessions warming room wing. There's more work to really figure out over here in configuring this. I did discuss with you early on today that we're going to extend and move the addition all the way to the corner, the bolt-nap corner of the rink, so we are going to pull that out a little bit further on the addition. And how we configure that, those spaces. We do need 2 stairs, we need 2 means of egress from the second floor warming room. That's just triggered by the number of occupants up there. So we've got a stair on each side. In between that, on the first floor, we'll have a couple bathrooms and concession, and then upstairs it'll really be just an open warming room concept with 2 bathrooms. So we've got bathrooms on both levels of the warming room inside that space. You can see 2 new gang-style bathrooms out in the arena, and then we're going to keep a toilet room over on the other side of the arena. Thoughts are that that'll become more of for the rink employees. Yeah, it'll be strictly, employee use. You can see here that the bleachers are being completely replaced with a telescopic bleacher system. These could be fixed. You could really save some money putting in fixed bleachers versus the telescopic. The telescopic can be pushed back and provide that space for other types of events. If it weren't a seating type of event, you could push them back and put things along that side. It is, if they were telescopic, there is a fairly decent sized space there where you could have things outside the arena itself. Other than that, we have storage rooms and different things around. We located the booth up above the storage room adjacent to the right side of the bleachers there. We did keep it on that side of the rink. We really don't have the headroom with the existing steel structure on this side. I know we had talked about trying to fit it on the locker room side of the project, and it just isn't going to work out. And it actually would be almost infeasible due to the steel plus fitting a stair over here. So we're currently proposing it on the same side that it is located. So right now, we're kind of finalizing and working through the schematics on the plan. After that, we're going to be looking at the exterior with elevations and 3D renderings. Next week, we're sending out the RFPs for this, like I said, the survey. We also got to get in there in probably early September for the hazmat testing. That's another big, that's probably the biggest question mark in terms of cost, or what's in there for hazardous materials. A lot of it is exposed. I don't envision that there's much that we won't be able to test. There's a lot of exposed HVAC, wiring, all that, and conduits and things that can be tested. We do in this, like I said, we do in this concept have a second floor warming room. We did discuss during the scoping whether or not we wanted that. That is an area of the project that certainly adds cost to have that second floor warming, but it does greatly add to the capacity, really, of the arena itself to have that space. So really just,
Do you need to get together with us again before, as you go further here?
Probably we'll probably take one more round with this, and I would recommend that we have a special meeting or like just a workshop with the board to,
Yep.
you know, go through the details and go through each space, along with the first round exterior design. So I think we're probably a week and a half to 2 weeks, you know, we could have that meeting.
And I think we already talked about it, that we could phase this project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We wanna definitely phase it so that, you know, because the work inside the arena versus the addition, those things can happen sort of more or less independently of one another. There are some systems that will tie together, but, the systems that I feel can probably be designed to be phased. So, just have to know up front before we go through full design what the phasing looks like.
Okay.
So sometime next week, we'll get the RFP, you know, next steps, RFP letters. I will have proposals for you to review on both the survey and the hazmat testing from multiple different firms. We'll wanna move forward with those. I would say probably, at that special meeting, I think we could have those proposals back and we could decide what to do.
Okay.
So.
Could you do exterior elevation views of the 4 sides?
Yeah, that's what we're working on now.
Okay.
Yeah, it just really wasn't there for today. They're pretty rudimentary right now, so.
Anybody have any other questions? No? Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
I mean, ultimately, when we're done, we're looking to have some really high quality, you know, exterior renderings with, some of the context also modeled. You know, I think that's gonna help the community and everybody visualize what this really looks like. Cause the rink isn't gonna look like it does now.
Oh darn.
I know it's unfortunate. So,
Well, thank you, Andrew.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Questions or whatever, give us a call, okay?
okay, thank you.
Okay, parking lot, brush pit, A4. Last meeting, I think we made a motion to move $150,000 from the fund balance of DA, and that was wrong. It needs to be the fund balance of DB, so I need a motion.
You take it out of DA?
We made a motion last time, and that was wrong. We said DA, and we were supposed to say DB.
Okay, I was
So
saying
now,
DA.
now we're correcting it.
Okay.
To DB.
Let's say, that's why you guys said, I said DA?
Yeah. So I need a motion to move the $150,000 from the fund balance of DB.
2 dB.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Sean,
And the money is there.
the money is there.
Okay, then.
Second by Gene. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None. Short-term rental, we did. On to new business. Everybody's got the new,
I got a question on old business. What is the, where are we at as far as, an update for the property across from Carnegie Bay where all the junk is at, on the Reed property?
I think I have that on the agenda here. So your question is
An update
on the, so.
as far as, what has been done, to get them to clean up the property underneath the new, laws of the.
Gonna ask our attorney to answer that question. He's worked on that with us, and there's
Okay.
a zoning violation that he's been working on.
Property owner's been served with a notice to comply, he's got 30 days to clean it up.
Okay, when does that 30 days end? Is it, when was the, granted that
He's got
paperwork?
30 days from the 26th of July.
26th of July, okay.
I have a question on that subject. I was served paperwork for that. I live in the house. I was served on the 4th. That would be the 10 days that I could have had a public hearing. I came up here and asked when that was served. I didn't get an answer.
I don't know who I'm talking to.
Jason,
So
My name's
Jason,
Jason.
how are you connected to that property? Are you the property manager?
I live in the house on that property.
You're the property manager?
No, maintenance guy.
Maintenance, property maintenance.
The maintenance guy. So, I understand that you've been served with that. The package that you were served with lays out a procedure very specifically that has to be followed in the event that the property owner wants a hearing before this board. So I encourage you to read that carefully and follow those steps, if you want a hearing.
Okay, well, it says you have 10 days.
Yeah, and it says, again, I can't advise you, right? My position is not to tell you what to do or how to do it, but I encourage you to read that package, and if the property owner wants a hearing on that, he has a very limited number of days to request a hearing in writing. So read the package that you were sent. A copy of that local law is in there.
It was dated the 26th. It was served to me on the 4th.
Right? So the 10-day shot clock starts to run on the date that you were served.
Okay.
Okay. Okay then, I was saying your financial statement, operating statement, balance sheet, P&Ls are all right here in front of everybody, and I'd like to make sure, I don't know, Sandy, you know if Nicole presented this or sent it to Mike Devils, you probably don't know, because we've been making sure that Mike gets a copy of this, Gene.
I know you have.
Can you, mention that tomorrow? We'll have a copy.
I'll check with him and let you know tomorrow.
Okay, that'd be great. Budget transfers. There's additional budget transfers, the same ones as last time, because not enough of us signed it. So this is the ones for 12/31/2023. First one is General A. We're gonna debit DBW equipment, $57,762.50. We're gonna credit contingency, $57,762.50. This is for the truck and plow that we purchased. Next one, General A, Town Clerk, CE, debit $500. Building, CE, Redwood Sewer, debit $600. Highway garage equipment, debit $500. Recreation Arena, CE, debit $10,000. Special Facility Dock, CE, debit $7,000. Community Service, CE, debit $200. Recreational BCS, CE, credit $18,800. Cover expenses incurred year to date and extras to get to year end, coming from BCS CE line item, which hasn't been used at all. Next item, publicity CE, debit $20,000. Bed tax revenue, credit $20,000. To increase budget expenses by expected revenues in the same fund. Next one, General A, refuse brush pit personal services, debit $5,000. Refuse garbage personal services, credit $5,000. To split out brush pit wages from TS wages, new account created in EBS, amount already included in the budget. Any questions? I need a motion to approve the transfers.
What was the 10,000 for the recreation arena? Do you know what that was for?
Recreation Arena CE. Contractual expense. Obviously, we didn't have enough in there for what we're doing.
Yeah, I was just curious.
A motion?
I'll make a motion. I'd just like an answer on that maybe tomorrow.
Motion by Sean to accept these budget transfers. I need a second. Second by Ron. Any further discussion?
Nope.
My discussion is, Sean had a good question, and I think we needed some better explanation on some of these items.
It'd be nice to have a note
That's what I was,
next to each.
I agree, that's what I was thinking.
Clear- I
Because
mean-
there's reasons that something is over, and obviously, or under. In the case of, the 18,800, that was a line item that we haven't touched, because we haven't done anything at Bonnie Castle Stables.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna ask,
The only question I would have is, we're taking money that we allocated for Bonnie Castle, and we're using it in areas that have nothing to do with Bonnie Castle.
within the same fund.
I'm just saying, is that legitimate? That wasn't the point of that money.
This is what makes it legitimate, us approving budget.
That was just my only
transfers.
question. I'm not saying not do it, I'm just saying, is that legitimate?
This is what makes it that way. It's not legitimate until we approve this.
Maybe not even a note on the side, like a cover sheet that explains
Yeah.
Yeah.
what each one is.
I note that I'm writing to Nicole is more details for each item. For each transfer. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. On to the next item, extend the moratorium. Andy, you have, or Sandy, you have that paper.
You gave it to Ronnie to read.
Board Resolution number 126. Extending a moratorium established by local law number 1 of 2022. I'm just gonna read the beginning of this. At the regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Alexandria, Jefferson County, New York, held at the municipal building at 46372 County Route 1, Alexandria Bay, New York, 13607 on August 16th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Meeting was called to order by Supervisor Sweet. Upon roll being called, the following were present: Brent Sweet, Ron Thompson, Gene Tring, Sean Thomas, and Mike Batt. As far as the rest of this, do we need to read the whole thing, Andy?
I just read the portion of the resolution that where you're actually extending the moratorium.
Okay.
So I think,
Where's that?
It's probably the last page here, isn't it?
I would read, now therefore it is hereby enacted, I would read those paragraphs, and that will tell the public exactly what you're doing, and that's what you're voting on.
Okay. Now therefore is hereby enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Alexandria, New York, that local law number 1 of 2022 as written, and the moratorium thereunder established is hereby extended for a period of 6 months from September 19th, 2023 until March 19th, 2024. Be it further enacted that this extended moratorium shall continue to apply to all such applications submitted after the introduction of local law number 1 for 2022. And be it further enacted that to extend that any law, ordinance, rule, or regulation, or parts of any laws, ordinances, rules, or regulations of the Town of Alexandria are in conflict with any provision of this local law concerning special issues, site plans, building permits, and procedural requirements, local law number 1 for 2022 shall control and supersede such laws, ordinances, rules, or regulations. And be it further enacted that it has been determined that this type 2 action under the State Environmental Quality Review and therefore not subject to further environmental review. And be it further enacted that this resolution extending local law number 1 of 2022 shall take effect immediately. A motion to adopt the foregoing resolution was offered by Councilman Crane and seconded by Councilman Thompson. Upon roll call vote, the board was duly accepted.
I just wrote their names in, somebody's gotta actually make the motion.
We'll keep it
Now
that
you gotta make the motion, and then I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
keep it that way. Gene makes the motion.
Second. Second. All those in favor?
Well, she's got, is this roll call?
She's gotta do a roll call.
Yep.
Yep. Councilman Crane,
Yes.
Councilman Fayette,
Yes.
Supervisor Sweet.
Yes.
Councilman
Can't shake my head, can I?
Yes.
Councilman Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passed. Thank you. Okay. Engagement letter, where do we stand on that, Andy?
I've drafted a letter
Sorry.
to, EFPR. You'll get a copy of it tomorrow.
It's amazing.
And, they'll get it by email and by mail tomorrow. It's requesting the changes that we discussed at the last meeting, setting forth a clear repayment schedule, and then if outside complaints are gonna be considered as part of whatever, their audit is, the town board has to be consulted first. We discussed that at the last meeting.
Okay. Okay. Resolution for standard workday.
I gave it to you.
You did?
The same thing we've done 2 other times, we're now going back to the way it was done the first time, from when I actually started working to the end of this year. Maybe we'll get it done before I'm done. So it's just a resolution for my standard workday of 40 hours, whatever it says. I've got to post it again for another 30 days.
Okay.
All in favor?
So we need a
I'll make a
motion. Motion by Sean, second
Second.
by Gene. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. New bottle can redemption sign, we all had a talk via email about what was the sign and the groups that we're gonna give it to, so I'm gonna do a generic sign, if that's okay with everybody, that we're not gonna put everybody's names on.
Easy.
I think we have 8 groups right now.
Did you did this engagement letter?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Bond resolution. Where's that?
Maybe that's the one you gave Lonnie, Lucy. Lonnie, is that the one he gave you?
No, that was the, extension of the moratorium.
A bond for what?
This is the bond resolution for,
Gotta be for Route 12 water, isn't it?
Route 12 sewer.
Sewer, thank you. I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't seen it either.
oh, I think you just got the
I got
one,
it.
you have the one copy.
Yeah, I thought, I gave you one to make a copy for everybody. Anyway, there it is. There it is.
Rob will save us.
Yes, he will, and he usually does. That's why he has to read it.
So, this is the bond resolution to authorize spending up to the 12.3 million for the, using the actual bid prices, plus contingencies and what have you, all the soft costs. I just noticed that, we received this draft a few days ago, I just noticed that Chris put in only the construction cost and didn't include any of the contingencies, hookup fees, or soft costs. So I'm pretty sure she meant that's just a mistake. The dollar amount shouldn't be 10,353,000, it should be 12,368,000, which is the district formation amount.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, so I would
Change that.
that change, and I changed it already, I'll get okay, with the right dollar amount. I think it was just an error on her part.
No, that's to me.
She picked the wrong number. But what this resolution basically does is it authorizes you to borrow up to that amount as a maximum. And, this will go to the.
Haven't yet, but I guess I'm gonna, huh?
Like that?
Has heat together.
Okay, so if you want me to read it, I can.
Do we need to read the whole thing? 5 pages long? That's your call, or Andy's.
I can read the important part. It's basically bond resolution dated August 2023 of the town board, the town of Alexandria, New York, authorizing general obligation serial bonds to finance sewer system capital improvements within the town, authorizing the issuance of bond anticipation notes in contemplation thereof, the expenditure of sums for such purpose, and determining other matters in connection therewith. It goes on to say that you formed the district in May, right? You reformed the district with the new prices, and that the cost of the improvements authorized won't exceed the cost threshold by the comptroller's office. So right now the comptroller's threshold is $694 per year per EDU. All right, and so this is saying we'll spend this money if we can get the grants to get it down to the comptroller's threshold. All right.
So that's the threshold that was at $900?
Yeah, it actually went down for 2023.
A lot.
A lot, from like $900.
That's what I was saying, I thought it was quite a bit higher.
Yeah, so it's gone down. It says that you've completed seeker, which we have, for the project. You have to have 2/3 vote. And then it's basically a description of the section 1 on page 2 is a description of the project, stating that it's along Route 12 and known as Sewer District 2. And it includes key Waden properties, and it includes a transfer or transmission of the sewage to the joint sewer plant. Okay, and then in that section 1 paragraph is where she's got only the construction cost. The general obligation serial bonds in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed, she has $10,353,000. It should be $12,368,043. That's the total project cost with contingencies, legal, engineering fees, the hookup fee to the plant, etc. She only took the
construction costs. So that should be amended in section 1 and 2 of the bond resolution. And then it quotes finance law, and that, it should, be consistent with section 52 of local finance law. All right. It also says that if the town uses any funds out of the general fund, that it would be reimbursed. You know, the district reimbursed the general funds for anything that's been expended. And it quotes the regulation. And then it goes on to say, this authorizes the sale, issuance, and delivery of said bonds and notes, okay? And it pledges the payment of the principal and interest on such bonds and notes as the same respectively become due and payable, so it's saying that you'll pay them off, basically. This summary also has to be published, which is known as the estoppel notice, okay? So once you pass this resolution, there's an estoppel notice or a notice to the residents of the town that you're going forward with this. It is subject to permissive referendum, I believe, as well.
Okay.
Should we approve this with the dollar amount wrong? Yeah.
You should approve it with the 12 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion, 368.
Yeah, okay.
As amended.
I'll make the motion
Amend the bond resolution to the correct amount?
to accept the bond resolution in the proper amount, including contingency and soft costs of $12,368,043.
368,043.
Motion by Gene, second by Sean. Any further discussion? Roll call vote?
Councilman Crane,
Yes.
Councilman Fayette,
Yes.
Supervisor Sweet,
Yes.
Councilman Thompson,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas.
Yes.
Good job.
Good, just give them
Yeah, shake your head. Boom, boom,
That happened a lot to me
That
and
was a
Ethan in
motion
our
to
day
amend the
growing up.
resolution, right?
Always said?
That was a motion to amend the resolution to correct the resolution, right?
Right.
To reflect that $12 million figure. Now you should
No.
vote on the amended resolution itself and authorize the amended bond resolution.
Okay, so the first one was the motion to amend, and now on the amended resolution.
No, yeah, first, somebody moves the vote on the amended resolution, those should be a second, and then vote on the amended bond resolution.
Okay.
Okay.
So I need a first with Ronnie, and second with Sean, and now we need a roll call vote.
Yep.
First was Ronnie, second was Sean,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Brent, Sean,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Oh, yes.
Mike, I remember last name. Thank you.
Okay.
That's okay.
Bond. Number 8 is, new village water rates. We had a meeting with the village on Friday, and they presented us with the new village water rates, and the town of Alexandria, and Mike Batt and Sandy and Dale Raymond, people that were there. We had questions, and we found out from the questions that we asked that they needed to do some more work on their rates, and now the town also has some more questions for them in relation to the rate and the new changed rate. We have some more questions, and they've scheduled a meeting for next Friday, Sandy?
Yep.
So we'll get together and have a discussion about this before that meeting, and then we'll go to their meeting on Friday. Just give everybody an update of where.
I've given everybody copies of what I was given. Please look them over.
Yeah.
Is that meeting this coming Friday?
No, next Friday,
Okay, a
A
week.
week from Friday.
a week from this Friday, yeah.
Gotcha. Did you want me to attend that or not?
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Got health officer duties to do, probably.
Do it all at the same time.
The parish front driveway, how many times we got that on here? Who did that?
Your agenda.
So we're all set there, and the renovations to the Bolton Ave Rec Center, we're all set there. What am I missing? What have I forgotten?
You're not missing anything. I'll make
sure?
the motion to go.
Second.
Into executive session and discuss litigation
Executive
concerning
session.
zoning violations.
Motion by Sean, seconded by
Gene,
Mike,
second.
all, any discussion, none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, none. Thank you.
Brett, so when people ask why you're doing the bulk